Hello everyone. Today we will start with session 6 of our chapter Atomic Structure. Previously we have discussed the discovery of fundamental particles like proton, neutron, electron, right? Then atomic models, we have covered the Thomson model of an atom and the model of an atom which was proposed by Rutherford as well. Bohr's model, we had an idea, and now today we will deal with the application of Bohr's model. How Bohr's model can be used to derive the formulas for radius of the orbit, velocity of the electron, or the energy of the electron which is present in a specific orbit, that we will learn today, right? So these derivations as well as formulas are important from the examination point of view. So direct formula also you need to remember, and just look at the derivation once, that will be sufficient for the exam, right? So see, before dealing with the Bohr's model, we need to know that one thing which is very important, that it is valid for only single electron species, right? For example, let us say hydrogen atom we are having, it consists of one electron, so Bohr's model is applicable to it. That means the formulas that we will be deriving for R, V and energy, radius, velocity of electron and energy of electron, which is present in a specific orbit, will be valid for this system, right? Now, if you take helium, helium consists of how many electrons? 2 electrons, right? So Bohr's model will not be applicable to this system. That means the formula that we will be deriving for radius, velocity and energy, that are not valid for multi-electron system. It is only valid for one electron system. Now consider helium plus. So helium is having 2 electron. Helium plus will have how many electrons? 1 electron, right? So this means what? That your Bohr's model can be applied to this system as well. Or it can be applied to lithium 2 plus also, because it consists of 1 electron. So it is applicable to only single electron species and not multi-electron species, right? Now, before deriving the formulas, let's revise the basics of electrostatics. First, the force of electrostatic attraction between two types of charges is equal to K into Q1, Q2 divided by R square. Mod of Q1, mod of Q2 divided by R square. And the second thing, potential energy is given as what? This is not velocity, this is potential energy. This is electrostatic force of attraction, and this is potential energy, will be given by K into Q1, Q2 divided by R. Remember the difference? Here mod is there and here mod is not there, right? And here the power of R is, or the power of distance is what? 2. Here the power of distance is what? 1, right? So applying this to our atom, which contains only one electron, so Q1 and Q2 will be the charge on electron and the charge on the nucleus, right? So for nucleus, the charge will be equal to charge on one proton multiplied by the number of protons, right? Because neutrons are neutral in charge, right? So here if you will consider the charge on nucleus, that is due to only protons, right? So what are the number of protons equals to Z? That means the atomic number. And what is the charge on proton? It is the positive of electron, right? So this will be E. Now here the charge on one electron, as we are considering only one system, right? One electron system. So the charge on electron will be equal to E only, right? Now, or you can take it as minus E, let us say. So this becomes what? ZE into E divided by R square. So the final formula that we will be using for electrostatic force of attraction will become KZE square divided by R square, right? So this is the force, electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and the single electron which is present in our system. Now the second one, if you consider, again Q1 will be, let us say, for nucleus, and this will be for electron, Q2. This will become what? Minus KZE square divided by R. Now here minus sign is coming, why? Because mod of charges is not there. So this you need to remember, the electrostatic force of attraction between the electron and the nucleus, And secondly, the potential energy that has been developed between the two charges, and the two charges are what? Nucleus and the electron that we are taking in our system. Okay, so based upon these two formulas, we will be deriving what? Radius or the distance of the orbit. What is the radius of the orbit? Basically, the distance of the orbit from the nucleus in which the electron is present. Right? For example, let us say that I am having the first orbit. Right? So the distance, the radius of the orbit will be equal to the distance between the nucleus and this orbit in which the electron is revolving is known as what? The radius of the nucleus, and that we need to calculate here. Right? So that will be denoted by R. V is what? The velocity of the electron which is revolving around the nucleus will be given by V. E will be what? The energy of the electron which is revolving around the nucleus will be equal to E. So these three parameters we need to calculate today. Okay. Now first is the derivation of radius. So here you consider electron is revolving in this orbit. So the radius will be equal to, the radius of the orbit will be equal to this distance. Right? This distance we need to calculate here. Now calculation of R will require two formula. First, electrostatic force of attraction is given by what? Kze square divided by R square. Right? And centripetal force of acceleration is given by what? Mv square by R. And previously we have already studied that the electrostatic force is basically responsible for the centripetal force and vice versa, right? So we can equate the two. So this becomes equal to Kze square divided by R square will be equal to what? Mv square by R, right? So here you cancel R, here you will be left only with R, right? So this gives you what? That Mv square equals to Kze square by R. This we have obtained. This we have obtained. This is the first one. Okay. Now the second one, we know that MVR equals to NH by 2 pi. That means angular momenta is equal to the integral multiple of H by 2 pi. Now from here, calculate V. It will be equal to what? NH by 2 pi MR. Now square it. V square will be equal to N square H square divided by 4 pi square M square R square. And now we got the first equation as what? That from here we got it mv square equals to kze square by r. So mv square will be equal to kze square by r. Now substitute v square in this. So it will become equal to what? M into n square h square divided by 4 pi square m square r square. Right? That will be equal to what? Kze square divided by r. Now cancel r here. So this becomes r. Cancel m here. This becomes m. Right? And here now you can derive the relation for r. R will become equal to what? It will become equal to n square h square. This thing will come in denominator. 4 pi square m into kze square. So this is the final formula that we are getting, right? So this is how you can derive the formula for radius of an orbit. Now putting the value of h as 6.62 into 10 raised to the power minus 34 because it is the Planck's constant, right? Pi as 3.14, mass of electron as what? 9.1 into 10 raised to the power minus 31, right? And k as 9 into 10 raised to the power 9, and e as what? 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19. That is the charge on the electron, right? So putting all the values, we will get it as, the final formula will be 0.529 into n square by z. This is the final formula that you get for r, right? N is the nth orbit in which the electron is revolving, and z is the atomic number. For hydrogen, z will be equal to what? 1, and this radius will come in angstrom. Okay. Now this is the final formula that you need to remember from the examination point of view. Now let us solve one question. Radius of third orbit of hydrogen is x. Okay. So radius of third orbit means that n equals to 3 and the radius is coming out to be x when z was equal to 1. What is the second orbit radius in Li2 plus? Right. So you have to give the answer in terms of x. Add this, that you have to give the answer in terms of x. Right. So we know the formula already, that r equals to 0.529 into n square. What is n square? 9. So this is equal to x. So x will be equal to what? 0.529 into 9. Now you need to calculate it for lithium 2 plus. So radius of lithium 2 plus electron will be equal to how much? 0.529 into n square. Now what is n square? N here is second orbit. So this will become 4. And lithium, the atomic number is hydrogen, helium, lithium. That means 3. So this will be equal to 3. Right? Now you have to calculate it in terms of x. Find out the common terms in these two relations. So here you will find out the common term is 0.529. So if I find out the value of 0.529 from here, let us say 0.529 will be equal to what? X by 9. Right? So put the value of 0.529 here. So this will become equal to what? X by 9 into 4 into 3. So now you will get the radius of second orbit. That will be equal to what? 4x by 27. So this is the final answer that you will be getting. So the answer is 4x by 27. Now next question is, what is the separation between second orbit and first orbit of hydrogen atom, right? So first you calculate, see what is it asking actually. This is the first orbit, this is the second orbit, right? So first orbit is this and second orbit is this, right? So the distance between first and second will be this part. That means you have to minus R2 and R1. So find out R2 first. So it will be equal to what? 0.529 into n square will be 4 divided by 1 because it is for hydrogen atom. Next R1 will be equal to 0.529 into first orbit is 1 square basically divided by 1. Now you subtract both R2 minus R1. That will be equal to what? 0.529 into 4 minus 0.529, because 1 square will be equal to 1 and multiplication with 0.529, it will give you what? 0.529 only, right? So this becomes equal to 0.529 into 4 minus 1, that will be equal to what? 3, taking out 0.529 as common. So this will become equal to 0.529 into 3, right? This will become equal to 9 3s are 27, 2 here, 3 2s are 6, 8, then 3 5s are 15, 1.587 angstrom. Right? So this is the distance between the second orbit and the first orbit of hydrogen atom. Or you can convert it into picometer also. We already know that 1 angstrom will be equal to how much? 10 raised to the power minus 10 meter. And 1 picometer is how much? 10 raised to the power minus 12 meter. Right? So this way you can convert it into picometer also if the answer is asked in picometer. However, if nothing is mentioned basically, you can give the answer in angstrom also. It is 1.587 angstrom. And if in picometer you will convert, you can write down that 1 angstrom let me rub a bit. 1.587 angstrom we are getting, right? So this will mean what? 1.587 into 10 raised to the power minus 10 meter. Or you can also write it as 158.7 into 10 raised to the power minus 12 meter. Now we know that 10 raised to the power minus 12 meter is equal to how much? picometers. So answer will become 158.7 picometers. Okay. So this is the answer for particular question. I hope you have understood this. Now derivation of velocity, right? This is a simple derivation. We know that mvr equals to nh by 2 pi, right? So velocity will be equal to nh upon 2 pi mr. Now you substitute the value of r. Here we got r as n square h square 1. So this you can put it as nh 2 pi m into n square h square. This will be numerator k z e square, right? This you cancel out. It will become what? Velocity will be equal to 4 pi square m k z e square divided by 2 pi m to n into h square. Yeah, here you can cancel out m and m also. M and n can get cancelled, and then pi and pi can also get cancelled here. You will be left here with pi, then here 2. So it will gradually become equal to how much? 2 kze square into pi divided by nh square, right? Ultimately, putting the values, you need to learn the final formula for the velocity. Velocity will come out to be 2 pi kze square divided by nh, that we have already done. So velocity, the formula will be equal to 2.18 into 10 raised to the power 8 into z by n centimeter per second. This you need to remember the final formula, right? Putting the value of pi as 3.14, k as 9 into 10 raised to the power 9, z as 1 if it is hydrogen atom, e as 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb, n is the basic orbit in which the electron is revolving, and h is the Planck's constant having the value of 6.62 into 10 raised to the power minus 34. Solving these, we will get the final formula as this, right? Now the questions is what is the velocity of electron in third orbit of helium plus, right? We know that velocity is equal to what? 2.18 into 10 raised to the power 8 into z by n centimeter per second, right? So let us say that you have to find out in centimeter per second. So z will be equal to what? Hydrogen helium, that means 2, and third orbit, so this will become 3. So 2.18 into 10 raised to the power 8 into 2 by 3. That will be equal to how much? 2.18 into 10 raised to the power 8 into, this will become your 0.6 centimeter per second. And if you will solve this, you will get it as 1.45 into 10 raised to the power 6 meter per second. If you calculate it in meter, if you are calculating it in centimeter, it will become equal to 1.45 into 10 raised to the power 8 centimeter per second, right? Depending upon the units that are asked in the question, you convert your answer according to that only. Okay. So this we have already got. R is this, V is this, right? R is directly proportional to n square by z, and V is directly proportional to z by n. This you need to remember, where z is the atomic number and n is what? The orbit in which the electron is revolving. Now derivations for energy. See, total energy is equal to what? Kinetic energy plus potential energy. Potential energy we have already studied there, that minus kze square by r is the potential energy. And kinetic energy formula we need to find out. We know that half mv square is what? The kinetic energy formula, right? We also know that mv square by r is equal to how much? Kze square divided by r square. So this will be cancelled. This will become r. Now mv square will be equal to how much? Kze square divided by r. So here we can substitute mv square value. So kinetic energy will become equal to half kze square divided by r. So total energy will be equal to how much? half of kZe square divided by R minus kZe square divided by R. That will give you how much? Minus half of kZe square by R. This is total energy, right? We can also say that total energy is half of potential energy, right? Here you can see potential energy is minus kZe square by R and total energy is minus half kZe square by R. That means total energy is half of potential energy, and you can say that total energy equals to negative of kinetic energy, because kinetic energy is what? Half of kZe square by R, and total energy is what? Minus half of kZe square by R. So these two relations you need to remember here. Okay. Now putting the values of K, Z, E, we get it as total energy comes out to be what? Minus half of kZe square by R. Now put the values of K, put the values of Z and use the formula of R that we derived, 0.529 into n square by Z basically, or you can put the final formula also that we get it as n square h square upon 4 pi square m kZe square. You can also put that here, right? So the final formula that comes out to be for total energy, it becomes equal to minus 13.6 into Z square by n square electron volt. Remember, this is in watt electron volt, right? So this is the final formula for total energy. Here you can see that we are having what? Minus 13.6 Z square by n square, right? Let us say we are calculating it for first orbit. So energy for first orbit for hydrogen will be equal to what? That Z will be equal to 1 and n will be equal to 1. So it will become equal to what? Minus 13.6 only. Now for E2 you put n equals to 2 and Z equals to 1. So it will come out to be minus 3.40 electron volt, right? Now for E3 what you will do? N will be equal to what? 3 and Z will be equal to what? 1. So E3 will be equal to minus 1.51 electron volt, right? And so on. So here you can see that the gap between first and second orbit energy is very much high. Rather, the gap as you move upwards or you increase the orbit number, you can see the gap is lowering, right? So this means that the difference in energy levels, the difference in successive energy levels in hydrogen atom decreases as we increase the orbit number or as we go far away from the nucleus, right? Increase in orbit number means what? Basically we are moving away from the nucleus. So as you move away from the nucleus, the difference between the successive energy levels in case of hydrogen atom decreases. Okay. Now ionization energy is what? Basically energy required to remove an electron from the orbit, from the outermost orbit, right? Now we know that, let us say the energy of orbit number 1 is coming out to be minus 13.6 electron volt. This means that if the electron is revolving in this orbit, the energy which will be used to take out this electron from the atom itself will be equal to what? 13.6 electron volt, right? Because the energy that is minus 13.6 electron volt that we are calculating for orbit. So the electrons which are revolving in this orbit will have a similar energy, right? Energy of orbit means what? That the electron which is revolving in that orbit has an energy equal to what? Minus 13.6 electron volt. Let us say I am considering the second orbit. The energy comes out to be minus 3.60 electron volt. That means the energy that is required to remove the electron from this orbit will be equal to what? 3.60 electron volt. And this is known as what? Ionization energy. So using the same formula of energy, that is minus 13.6 Z square by n square, rather you just change the magnitude there, right? Here it is minus 3.60, ionization energy will be positive. That means 3.60. Only change the magnitude, only change the sign and the magnitude will remain the same, right? For example, let us say you are asked that what is the ionization energy of the electron which is present in the second orbit of hydrogen atom. right? We know that energy of the electron which is present in second orbit will be equal to what? Minus 13.6 into z square. Z will be 1 for hydrogen, so 1 square divided by 2 square, that will be 4. So this will be coming out to be minus 3.60 electron volt, let us say, right? So ionization energy will be equal to what? 3.60 electron volt. Magnitude is remaining the same, only the sign you have to change, right? Because ionization energy we need to give to the atom to take out the electron from that particular orbit, right? Now the question says, what is the ionization energy of electron from second orbit in lithium 2 plus? Again, you calculated minus 13.6 into Z is what for lithium? Hydrogen, helium, lithium 3 square divided by what is N square? That is second orbit. So this will be equal to 4 square. Now you just calculate it, sorry, 4. 2 square, that will be equal to 4 minus 13.6 into 9 divided by 4. Right? And you just change the sign here, right? That will be equal to what? Ionization energy. So the ionization energy that you will be getting here will be 30.6 electron volt. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. So today we have done the radius formula, velocity formula, energy formula, and these are valid for only one electron species because Bohr's model is applicable to only one electron species. Right? So rest we will continue in the next class. That's all for today. Happy learning to all.